Welcome back. Let's now get straight to the conversation around the, would you call it political intrigue or political crisis or interest crisis within the Labour Party? A couple of factions, literally, in that party, and they are trying to put it together, but it looks like the center is still not holding, which is why we are having this conversation. The biggest thing that happened lately was the fact that INEC has stopped recognizing Julius Abure as the chairman of the Labour Party, insisting that his tenure ended in June 2024. But Abure and his people are saying, no, we have a court judgment that, says Abure is still the substantive chairman of the party. But the presidential candidate, the governor of Abia State, Alex Oti, and some chieftains of the Labour Party, they met in Umeh here and they set up a caretaker committee led by former senator, and now ahead of their convention. So we're having that conversation as to what is playing out in the Labour Party. We're being joined by Senator Victor Umeh, senator representing Anambra Central District in the National Assembly. Distinguished, thank you, and thank you for your patience.
Thank you. Good morning. Thank you for having me this morning.
So I know that I listened to Dr. Alex Oti when the caretaker committee was set up. He said, look, we're not removing anybody. We just want to find a way out of this, quote unquote, in my words now, imbroglio. Not as if we're taking out anybody. But now INEC has said, look, Abure is not even recognized as the chairman. That's why successive meetings, the Abure group have not been invited. So, but INEC has been silent on who they are talking to, although Abure's name is still on their website. So, as we speak now, who leads? Who is leading the Labour Party? Maybe you can dovetail from there to others.
Well, thank you very much. Flowing from the statement you made, that Alex Oti made, when the stakeholders met in Umeh on the 4th of September, it was emphatically stated that we did not gather to remove anybody from any position he's occupying in the Labour Party. Instead, we were responding to the situation the party found itself, where the supposed leaders of the party ran the party into a ditch, to the extent that the Independent National Electoral Commission, as you have pointed out, stopped recognizing the national chairman and the executive committee under him as the people running the party. We saw these developments playing out from our respective places, and we looked at the situation very critically, and also saw that the Labour Party is being excluded from all activities organized by the Independent National Electoral Commission for the same reason that the tenure of office of the people in charge of Labour Party has expired due to a fluctuation of time, and for reason that they failed to do what they ought to do to put in place a succeeding leadership in the party. So that was what gave rise to the concerns expressed by all the good people in the party, and His Excellency Mr. Peter Obi and Dr. Alex Oti, the governor of Abia State, had to rally the party people together, all the major stakeholders in the party, including the representatives of the Nigerian Labour Congress and TUC, to come together and find a way to resolve the impasse. That's what happened. Before I go into discussing this matter, let me draw you to what the Constitution says about leaderships in political parties. Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999, as amended. I read from Section 223 of the Constitution. Section 223 of the Constitution says, Sub 1, the Constitution and rules of a political party shall provide, that is A, provide for the periodical election on a democratic basis of the principal officers and members of the executive committee or other governing body of the political party. And then B, ensure that the members of the executive committee or other governing body of the political party reflect the federal character of Nigeria. Subsection 2, and very, very importantly, it says A, The election of the officers or members of the executive committee of a political party shall be deemed to be periodical only if it is made at regular intervals, not exceeding 4 years. And go on further. So you can see this is the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, and this Constitution guides everything in Nigeria. Both the Electoral Act and the various constitutions of different political parties are subject to this provision of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria under this subject. So bringing it back to what is playing out in the Labour Party, the contentious issue is that the tenure of office of the Abure-led the National Executive Committee of the party has expired out of explosion of time. And for you to provide or create a succeeding leadership following this expiration by explosion of time, you have to take steps as required by this provision in the Federal Constitution, in line with your party constitution, to conduct elections periodically and at regular intervals for periods not exceeding 4 years.
Senator,
so what this means now is that, yes.
Just so that, for want of time, so my question is, I understand what you're saying, but yes, the argument is also the fact that
yes,
even your law doesn't have any space for caretaker anything. But my question to you is, who is INEC speaking to? There's an election in about 48 hours. If INEC is not talking to Abure, INEC is talking to someone. You have a candidate who is one of the 3 top candidates in this election. Doesn't that concern? So who is INEC talking to?
Yes. Well, the issue is very clear from the question you are asking. If we don't have a leadership that is recognized by the Independent National Electoral Commission for breaching the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, the party is still in place, and the party is still alive, but without leadership. So INEC must be dealing with the party through some means, and that's what the party has gathered to do. The party people have gathered to do, to put in place a caretaker committee that will be interfacing with INEC on behalf of the party until the proper things are done. They know that nature abhors vacuum. If we don't have leadership in place, it does not suppose that the Labour Party is now extinct. And that's what we have done, to come in and fill in the gap. This thing just happened, and we are taking steps to ensure that INEC should be talking to some people in the party. And that's what we have done. So the caretaker committee that has been put in place by a broad spectrum of the stakeholders in the party are the people the party recognize now to be representing them in all matters. So somebody whose tenure has expired cannot be talking about being in charge of the party, for the simple reason that he was there, and therefore nobody should talk about the party, even in his absence. So it is no longer possible for him to represent the party. So now you've spoken about the governorship election that is 48 hours or thereabouts away in Edo State. For the past 2 months, all the activities relating to this election, Abure and his team have been completely absent in the process. Campaigns have been going on in Edo State. Abure has never appeared there with anybody he's talking to be leading the Labour Party with. All the party people have not left our candidate in Edo State stranded. We were there yesterday to do a final campaign with our candidate, Olumide Apata, and Abure was not there. Those people he said they are representing the party with, they were not there. So what we are doing is that the party has to move on and rectify all the mistakes they made, because these were willful mistakes. You cannot bring yourself into office to succeed yourself without following the due process as provided.
So I think from what you've said so far,
I just read out for you.
Right. So from what you said so far, Senator Umeh.
Let me tell you. Let me explain.
No, just a moment. Just so we can leave people with a clear understanding of what is going on. Is INEC speaking to you, or at least the caretaker committee led by Nenadi Usman? Yes or no? Has INEC recognized Nenadi Usman's caretaker committee?
Well, I'll take a question from this perspective. When this thing started, people from the party, even groups, had to go and speak to the INEC chairman to find out what was playing out between INEC and Abure-led executive committee. And the INEC chairman told them flatly that we have no leadership because of the effluxion of time against Abure and his team, that they failed to do what they were supposed to do. They didn't do congresses. They didn't do anything before they arrived at the convention they purportedly conducted to bring themselves back to office. So we went back.
Pardon me to butt in quickly. Pardon me, Senator Umeh. So you've laid the background. Just a second, Senator Umeh. I'll allow you land on your thoughts, pardon me. But just to broaden this conversation, you've laid the background. You've given us why you were motivated, your group was motivated to do this. But, you know, Mr. Abure, in that presser yesterday, spoke about some court rulings, whether or not you are aware, your group is aware of that court ruling, or even INEC is aware. And we have joining us someone who can shed light on that, Mr. Olorunfemi, who is Deputy National Chairman of the Labour Party, joins us virtually. Mr. Olorunfemi, you've listened to Senator Umeh. He said that this had to be done because INEC clearly was not recognizing anybody, basing it on, you know, the sections of the Constitution that guards, you know, party activity. INEC is obviously not speaking to Julius Abure as well. So from that light, do you maybe resonate with what Senator Umeh has said? Or do you disagree? Please unmute so we can hear you, Mr. Olorunfemi.
Hello?
Yes, please go ahead.
Yeah, I just had a much. What are you saying?
Well, my question is, we've been speaking with Senator Umeh, who gave us a background as to why action had to be taken to ensure that the Nenadi Usman caretaker committee comes in. Because INEC was not speaking to anybody. INEC was saying Labour Party has no leadership, not following the constitutional provisions for party activities, how to elect leaders, and the tenure of Mr. Abure. So do you resonate with him? Do you agree with him on that one and the emergence of the CTC, the caretaker committee?
Yeah, what is playing out is the fact that we brought the bad eggs, we admitted the bad eggs in PDP and APC, Abure, we brought them into the party. And so what they are used to and what they are very good at is what is playing out. I heard him when he was reading the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. I don't know whether he believed or he thought that Nigerians are not lettered, not educated. And so you can read anything. You know, just like some pastors some people will turn the Bible to suit their own particular interest. First and foremost, there was an election. So if the tenure expired, there was an election. And the Electoral Act gave the provision that you give INEC 21 days of notice before the election can take place, before a national convention can be held. And it is only two people. There are only two people that can summon the national convention or make a meeting of the party. And those two people are the national chairman and the national secretary. Now this letter was written even before 21 days. And of course, the Justice Omotosho has already confirmed this and said that the maximum, the 21-day notice that was given was sufficient and was in line with the provision of the Electoral Act. Now, INEC as a regulator is not a trap setter. If that notice was not sufficient, if that notice was not acceptable, the INEC has a responsibility to respond to the party and say, you cannot hold this election for so and so reason. Or you cannot go into this convention for so and so reason. INEC did not do anything. And of course, silence means go ahead, as usual. We went into the convention, elected our leaders, and we forwarded this same report back to INEC. INEC received this report first month, second month, third month, before some people that he's talking about went to INEC, pressurized INEC to do their bidding, and forgetting that this same INEC destroy our chance of winning the presidential election. They are now their friends. And of course, like you know, INEC will concede to them and create confusion. And what we are saying now, we are in court. We had to go to court when we were hearing this rumor and when we were disallowed from participating in trading of agents. We took INEC to court to come and explain. And what INEC is now saying is that our national convention did not follow Electoral Act. How? Why? They couldn't explain. All they are saying, the same language that this set of people that have just spoken to you, the same language they are singing is what INEC is now singing, which they cannot substantiate in the law. They can't substantiate it in the law of the party. And, you know, let's even assume without conceding that the tenure of the NWC has expired. Is it Alex Oti or Obi that will convey meeting? Assuming without conceding that the tenure of the NWC has expired, it's not in their duty to conduct. It's still the same person whose tenure has expired that will convene a meeting in line with the constitution of the party. So they are here to make trouble. They are here to create confusion. We admitted the Nenadi that you are talking about is not even yet a member of the party. Tell him, I challenge her. Tell her to provide the register of the party that contains his name. And it contains her name. She's not a member. These people joined barely 2 years ago, claiming to be joining. We are not even sure whether they have properly resigned from their PDP. Tell them to show you evidence of their resignation from PDP. At least there will be an acknowledged copy of the letter they submitted. Tell them to show you. They came from that place to come and destroy this place, but it won't work. We are on ground.
All right, Mr. Olorunfemi, let me take it back to Senator Umeh, following up on what you said specifically about INEC failing to act on the report for about 1 month, 2 months, 3 months. Senator Umeh, granted that the Congress held by Mr. Julius Abure in March was disputed by members of the party, but following that dispute, you know, which also led to internal crisis within the party, why did INEC not register its dissatisfaction with that process all that while? Why is INEC only just coming out now to say that it refuses to recognize Julius Abure as national chairman of the party? It would seem like, you know, that refusal to recognize the national chairman lacks some form of propriety, because it's an independent body that seems to be getting emotional and involved with the internal wranglings within a political party. That's on the one hand. Respond to that first.
Well, I think it is the duty of the political parties to organize themselves properly in accordance with the provisions of the law. INEC, as a monitor, will look at you whether you are doing the right thing or the wrong thing, and they take the decision after looking at what you've been doing. What these people have failed to tell you, particularly Dr. Olorunfemi, who is insulting everybody now, is that there was a consent judgment which Abure led the executive signed with the Labour, NLC, and TUC, who are stakeholders in the party. Because Abure and his team didn't come into their leadership through any election. The former chairman died, Absalam, and they had to get Abure and his team to fill in the gap. And there was an agreement that they will conduct world congresses, local congresses, state congresses, and then convention to bring in a proper leadership for the party within 1 year. It was INEC that brokered this settlement, and the parties signed. Abure signed with Farouk Umeh, his secretary. And when they went into the leadership of the party on that ad hoc basis, they were expected to do these things within 1 year. And this agreement was reached in 2022 by INEC intervention. Now, the terms of settlement they took to the court earlier on was delivered as a judgment of the court by Justice Gabriel Kolawole of the Federal High Court. They have been silent on this consent judgment, and they have failed to conduct any ward congresses, any local government congresses, any state congresses, and then suddenly they said they've arrived at a convention. When their tenure expired, the mandate given to them was to do these things within 1 year. Last year, they were supposed to start these processes after the general elections. They said because there were litigations in court that they needed an extension of 1 year, before they would be able to do these things. And the party gathered in Asaba. I was there too. The tenure was extended by 1 year to enable them concentrate on the matters in court, election disputes and all that. After that, they were supposed to begin with ward congresses, local government congresses, state congresses, then convention. As I'm speaking with you here now, Abure and his people, including Olorunfemi, they've not conducted any ward congress in the Labour Party since they assumed office.
Mr. Olorunfemi,
and now they have come on a sudden flight. They've not come to a sudden flight that they've done a convention to restore themselves as leaders of the party. When you have failed to build the pyramid, you do the ward congresses, do local government congresses, do state congresses, and culminate in a convention. They didn't do any of these things. And that's what INEC has faulted. They are now citing they've gone to court. The Somotosho said their convention was valid.
May I come
it cannot be so.
Yeah, Mr. Olorunfemi will have time to respond to that. But why is Mr. Abure's name still recognized as National Chairman of Labour Party on INEC's website? That's on the one hand. And on the other hand, Mr. Olorunfemi has said that some members of the party under this current caretaker committee are not Labour Party members, really. Speaking of the leader of that committee, Senator Nenadi Usman, I'd like you to respond to that as well.
Well, that is a frivolous claim. If myself, Senator Victor Umeh, who contested election through the Labour Party and won election and become a senator, and all the senators in the party, produced by the party, were in the meeting. Over 90% of the members of the House of Representatives elected by the party, through the party, came to the meeting. House of Assembly members, the only governor we had, and the presidential candidate of the party. I think these people are living in a fool's paradise by describing the people who gathered to be non-members of the party and all of us who are in the... I'm a member of the caretaker committee, mind you. So also two other senators, members of the House of Reps 4, members of the House of Assembly. It was a broad membership of the party coming together to take this action. The only governor you have is also not a member of the party. So they are not telling the people the truth. They are running away from what they have put themselves into. And no amount of rigmarole will cover the truth, that they didn't follow the process to renew their leadership. And that's what has kept us here. That their name is in the website does not make them leaders of the party. The who does not make a monk. You have to be exercising that authority effectively and effectually to the satisfaction of everybody for you to claim to be in place. And you have heard that the court has no jurisdiction over internal affairs of political parties, matters of political parties. They are now relying on the court to hoist themselves on the party. They should make a very quick round return and know that Senator, this thing we are talking about is not something that will go to the... Yes.
Yes, okay.
Yes.
I think your membership of the Labour Party is not the focus. I've spoken to a couple of the Abure group. I've listened to them. Their contention, which demands a direct answer, if you can give us a direct answer, if I take it to Mr. Olorunfemi, is Nenadi Usman a registered card-carrying member of the Labour Party? And when did she join the Labour Party? That is the question.
Of course, she is a member of Labour Party. Olorunfemi cannot be speaking, branding any person not to be a member of Labour Party. When Mr. Peter Obi resigned from the PDP, because all of them were in PDP, and joined Labour Party, Nenadi Usman also resigned from the PDP and followed Peter Obi to the Labour Party. He registered in Kaduna State, his home state, in his ward, So she's a member of the party. And she was part of the whole processes, the election campaigns. I was with her in various campaign fora as a member of Labour Party. So now that these people have found themselves in a tight corner, they want to dismiss anybody they see as not a member of the party.
Let's take it to Mr. Olorunfemi. Yes. Senator, let's take it. Mr. Olorunfemi, you heard Senator Umeh responding to you that Senator Nenadi Usman is a member of the party. But added to your response, I'd like you to speak to the issue of that consent judgment that they say it was an arrangement that INEC brokered. No, hold on, Mr. Olorunfemi, sorry, my apologies. Because besides what we're talking about, your Abure faction and then the CTC, there's Callistus Okafor somewhere who also has a judgment and saying, look, how did acting National Secretary Julius Abure, after the death of the then chairman, emerge as the chairman of the party when he was the deputy national chairman and should have naturally become maybe the acting chairman? He's on the fringe, around the corner. I spoke to him yesterday, and he's still laying claim to the leadership now that Abure is not being recognized by the party. And Senator Umeh also said, you didn't conduct any congresses that culminated in your Nnewi convention that brought in Julius Abure yet again. So I want you to speak to these issues.
All right. First and foremost, let me take it from those who attended the so-called stakeholder meeting that appointed an illegal ethical committee meeting. 3 House of Rep members attended. One of the Rep members came to give us report. Yes, Umeh and about three other senators attended. Okay, so it's not true that all the representatives of 90% or 80% of House of Rep members attended. It's not true. Okay, and secondly, you cannot convene a meeting. The governor of Abia State cannot convene a meeting of the party. He can convene the state executive council meeting, but they cannot convene a meeting of the party. Even the meeting of his own ward, he will need to get approval of his ward chairman to conduct such meeting. For that kind of meeting to hold. That is on that. Secondly, on Nenadi Usman, you have had a lot of people who came from PDP to come and assist Peter Obi in the party. She is one of them. She didn't join the party. And the ward chairman, we attest to it. Her own ward chairman, we attest to the fact that he never joined the party. Okay? And you have heard of somebody who, after the presidential election, went to PDP and contested the primary of PDP and told them that he was never a member of Labour Party. He left Afenifere. Afenifere gave him an assignment to come and assist Peter Obi. Are you with me? So these are facts that are available to everybody. It's not everybody that supported Peter Obi that was member of Labour Party. Of course, some of them can now decide to come and join. Who accept them if they want to join? But the fact remains that they are not yet member of the party. Yes, Senator Umeh, by virtue of the fact that he contested, he had to do the needful before he was allowed to contest. So he's a member. All right?
Yeah, well, so, Mr. Olorunfemi, answer that question. Just to remind you, congresses, did you conduct congresses that culminated in your convention? Hold on. How did Abure emerge chairman when there was a Callistus Okafor? Because that's also an issue that is destroying the party.
The consent judgment you are talking about, okay. The consent judgment you are talking about did not embrace every member of the party. TUC was not involved in that case. That was something they did. However, it took place in 2018, after which a convention took place in 2019. Those who disagree with that convention were the ones that are complaining all over the place. That was the period of Salam. Okay? So maybe Umeh didn't look at that document and read and look at the date. The other agreement is talking about was the one that was reached in 2002, which was as a result of the TUC effort in reconciling everybody in the party. I led that team.
All right.
But again, in signing that agreement...
The Congress bit.
Yes. Are you with me?
Yes, the Congress bit. We're winding down now. The Congress.
Okay. Now, the tenure of local government, state school, is quite different from that of the national. It was through this national convention, based on the popular opinion, that we had to amend the constitution to reflect single tenor for everybody. So it is this constitution that will now bring everybody together that in such a manner that whenever we want to conduct the next convention, we will have to start from the local government level. But when you look at our constitution, it's very clear. It's very clear. It brings delegates from the state.
All right, Mr.
That's what the constitution, all these things they are talking about and badly about, they are not. It's not there in our constitution.
All right, Mr. Olorunfemi.
You cannot import the constitution of PDP and bring it here. If you are bringing it, we can accept it, but it will have to follow due process.
Mr. Olorunfemi, must thank both of you for coming on the program. That means there's a lot in the offing as far as the conversation around the Labour Party crisis is concerned. Are you Olorunfemi, Labour Party Deputy National Chairman, joining us via Zoom from Abure, and Mr. Victor Umeh, Senator representing Anambra Central District, joining us from Abuja studios. Thank you, gentlemen, for coming on the program.
Thank you very much.
All right, so we will take a quick break, and when we come back, we will talk about this issue of flood and the alert that the federal government is issuing to states that may be affected with the release of water from the dams. Join us again.